Hi everyone, it's Pastor Dave. Today I want to talk about secularism, the values that we hold near and dear to modern political secular thinking, and the idea of human rights, the idea of even equality for every individual, without regard of gender, race, ethnicity, national origin, all those kind of factors. It's just a simple formula. If you're a human being, you have rights. If you're a human being, you deserve to have equality, equal treatment under the law, equal opportunity. We're not saying equal ability, we're just saying equal opportunity. And of course, just liberty, just the right to be a person who can pursue their life, to pursue the happiness, to pursue the strength of being the individual that they seek to be, without harming others, without taking the rights of other people. So these are the humanistic perspectives that we try to incorporate into our political thinking. That's what we do. That's what we need to do. And we need to try to hold these values up. And we need them to sustain us for peace, for economic opportunity, but economic sensibility, just so that we don't harm ourselves. We should definitely incorporate as part of our human rights the right for clean air and clean water, so that anyone who is making productive efforts to try to create something that can improve the life of human beings can do so without harming the environment, without harming water, without harming human beings. And if you can do that, then that's the noble way of, and the enterprising way of being in the modern world. I know nobody really does that. These are ideals. These are what we pursue. And they are good values. And then, of course, we can contrast those, or at least I still believe that religious values can be in line with these humanistic values. The idea of equality and liberty and freedom and human rights should fit into the narrative of every religion, because every religion at least had the ambition to try to give human beings an idea of how to be better than they are. There's a way to improve yourself as a human being, as a member of a society and all that. But oftentimes there are aspects of religion that just have not been modernized, and these attitudes are still held on, even though they do not support a modern perspective. But more importantly, they don't even support scientific evidence or just even political theory and the idea of modern philosophy about human interaction. And that's the sad part. And I know some people can determine that, yes, they have a right to, well, let's see, we'll call it restrict people, cause people to be subordinated, force them into slavery, force them into subjugation of some sort, and that your religion would be perfectly in line with that kind of thinking. And I can't disagree with that. I mean, slaveholders in the United States clearly felt perfectly justified because their Bible in no way gave them any reason to believe that slavery was wrong. So that's a perfect example. There's so many of these religious perspectives that stick to this kind of patriarchal dominating, manipulating, controlling quality that the idea of modern secularism, humanism, is lost on them. And they really don't get it. Which makes me question whether these religions can be moral. I'm holding out hope that they can be. That there's enough substance in their religious teachings that they can actually make a difference to people in the modern sense. They just can. I don't know when that will happen, but clearly the progress and the belief systems are contained within, for example, Christianity and Islam, just to name a couple. But within them, they do contain values of peace and forgiveness and non-judgment and love, respect, all these kind of things. So the material is there for them to recognize that they can still maintain their beliefs if that's important to them, and yet still use their I don't want to say dependence, but their belief system as the tool they can use to adjust to a secular way of being, a humanistic style of thinking, where equality and freedom and human rights really are the centerpieces, or should be the centerpieces, of our political systems. And it is important that we maintain the secular perspective so that all religions can then accordingly adjust to the secular thinking without losing the integrity of their own religious belief. And that's probably the best way you can sustain your right to believe, your freedom of religion. But you have to embrace the secular idea of human rights for everyone, equality for everyone, meaning equal opportunity, meaning equal access to just basic services. They should not have to live without the benefit of modern technology, without the benefit of modern secular thinking, where everyone should have clean air, clean water, food, basic shelter, basic clothing, basic health care. You should definitely have access to these. These are human rights. And they shouldn't be denied to anyone that is a human being. And that's where religion has to catch up. They don't seem to have a problem holding on to the worst of their beliefs, such as slavery, such as subordination, such as, violence. Those should be let go. And you can still hold on to the best of your religion by believing or embracing those qualities that are in line with your secular thinking. And that's tricky, I know, but it has to be worth it for you. If your cultural value, your connection to your religion and your culture is so important to you, then you need it to modernize. You need it to catch up with 21st century thinking. So we can't have religious controlled governments, because if you have a single religion, then you're going to subject your citizens to you're going to reject their right to their beliefs, their religious freedom. So that is an issue. So that's why we really can't have any kind of government-sponsored religion. And don't tell me that secularism is religion. It is not. This is just sort of a collective, it took many millennia to come to the realization that we have to do better than just fighting each other over our religious beliefs or our cultural beliefs and our own, and we can't be so self-centered about that thinking. We have to really embrace everybody. And that has to be done at the secular level, because the moment you start turning it into some kind of cultural or religious right, then you're going to deny all the other cultures and all the other religions. Whereas secularism does not. It definitely does not want to single out a religious group or single out a people to deny them rights. No, because the secular basis is human rights, protecting it. All humans have basic rights, and they should be protected. And every human has the right to these, our access to these. They should have equal opportunity, especially economically. I understand that we all have different levels of skills, but we have to give everybody the opportunity to be the most that they can be. And if you are being denied that opportunity, that your right to basic human rights is being rejected because of your ethnicity or your belief system, then that's a problem. That's certainly not in line with modern secular thinking, humanistic thinking. So that's why secularism has to be the political center of any given government. And then from there, all other religions and all other cultural beliefs can be supported, as long as those religious or cultural belief systems can live in a society that respects all human beings and wants equal opportunity for everyone. And if that cannot happen, then people who hold those beliefs, they're going to have to make a change. They're going to have to. Otherwise, if you're going to be a religion that decides to impose some kind of violent restrictions on other people who believe different or have a different religion, then you are oppressing. You are not providing a secular basis for human rights and freedom and equality to exist. If you're not going to recognize equality and freedom as the basis for interacting with other human beings, and that they all should be respected and have basic human rights for the most basic things in life that we need. If you can't, then you're going to have to make an adjustment. Your religion has to adjust. It has to make some kind of cultural, even theological adjustment if necessary. But I believe that you don't necessarily have to hold near and dear to all of these beliefs, especially those beliefs that restrict or oppress other people. We can't have slavery. It's just morally wrong. Not because God said so. This is a moral imperative that says we cannot enslave anyone, lest we be enslaved. That's the risk. So that's why you have to let go of those aspects of your belief that do not line up with modern political, secular, humanistic thinking. And that's the best way to keep your religion going. I mean, that's really the best opportunity you have. You have this chance to raise your own belief system so that they're in line with this egalitarian, liberty-based, human rights-based thinking.